All right, race fans, we got a really cool project here today. Got a new customer that came in with a 1968 Dodge Charger. Said he bought it, it was a barn find, it's 100% stock. He pretty much told us we can do whatever we want to it. He wants to modernize it, have us build the engine, transmission, put EFI on it. So I thought it'd be a really good idea to put it here on a hub dyno and let's baseline it. Let's all see what a 1968 Charger made back then. Then we're going to try and show you as much of the project as possible. We're going to pull the motor out, go through the trans, put EFI on it, like I said, and then when it's all done, we're going to put it right back on here and we're going to run it again. And then we're going to see how much we picked up. And I know we're all going to be surprised at what we can make with it. All right, what a project this has been. I really like doing cars like this. Customer gave us the leeway to do whatever we wanted, and we really made a really nice car. I think we hit it out of the park. I'm gonna give you a brief overview of everything we did. Let's walk back here. We've run it on the hub dyno twice now, and just to give you an idea what that means, this dyno can control axle speed. So it's got an encoder built in, state of the art, everything you could ever want. Doesn't matter if you got a street car or a pro modified race car, this thing can control it. Customer has taken the car while we had the motor out. He actually put a brand new interior in it. We left the passenger seat out that gave us room to do the wiring and everything we did. Everything's hidden. If you look in here, you got the EFI in the glove box. Everything's nice and hidden in there. It's got a big stuff in it, and it's all wirelessly controlled. It's what we prefer. And we're just finished running it again for a second time. To give you a little look of what it looks like under the hood. You could probably look back earlier and see with the video what it looked like with a stock engine. And this is the same engine with Edelbrock heads, stroker crank, rods, pistons, elevated compression, and all of our little tricks under the hood. So real happy. Did an updated cooling system, electrical, main disconnect. Very modernized. This is much like a newer car now. You could actually start this thing on a key fob from inside your house and it would start and warm up just like your actual factory car would. This car has a 2.5-inch stock exhaust system on it. We didn't know how much it was going to hurt it, but based off the motor, what it made on the engine dyno, I would say it's down quite a bit. So we're going to change the exhaust. The owner already gave us the approval. We're going to put a 3-inch exhaust system on it. It'll be really nice to see what that picks up. Come on this way with me. If you look inside from driver's perspective, take my little control out here for the dyno, you really can't tell anything's done. It's a complete stock car. So just to recap again what we did, we got it here, baselined it, immediately went and pulled the engine out of it, did it in the teardown area, pulled it all apart. We're going to show you honing. We're going to show you paint prep and how we do things different. We do everything much nicer than a regular spray can job. And then we went into assembly area. Then we got the engine together. Then we're going to take you onto the engine dyno and we're going to show you everything that we dialed in on the EFI to get the thing running and a couple small little trials and tribulations we went through. We're going to show you the power level there. Then we're going to show it putting it back in the car, ultimately bringing it back out here to put that number up on the board. I like to document everything before pulling the engine. It makes it much easier when we put it back together later down the road. So once everything is written down and pictures are taken, I like to move to paint. I like to outgas everything so that we can get rid of the impurities in the cast iron. This makes for a better paint prep and adhesion on the block. So we move to epoxy priming, which sticks better than anything known to man to any surface. Then I move to a single stage urethane automotive grade paint, which keeps anything from staining or discoloring. Then we're going to move into our CNC hone, where you'll see we have our own deck plates that we designed in-house, and makes for a better finish for ring seal. And we're going to go ahead and move into assembly area, which means we mock up the engine several times for stroker clearance, grinding, fitting bearings, and that's improved oiling and longevity of the engine. And we also spend quite a bit of time on the rest of the short block, and getting the oil pan fitted is always a challenge. Seems like every oil pan we get doesn't fit, even though they're supposed to. So we'll spend several hours on fitting a pan and setting the clearance just for the pickup tube alone to the bottom. Once that's done, we torque all the bolts, mark them to signify that it's been done, and we're almost ready for the dyno. So we're going to add break-in lubricant to the engine, and the next step will be to put the top half of the motor on and roll it out to the dyno. We have our own in-house engine dyno, and we're going to go ahead and make a pull here. It made 695 horse on a baseline pull. And now I would like to pull the cylinder heads off and do a full CNC port job. This is going to allow us to show the customer what the comparison is from unported heads to fully ported heads. And then we will reassemble the heads with all of our tricks of the trade, and we're going to put it all back together, and we're changing nothing else other than the CNC port work. Even the same spark plugs and oil were used. And we're going to make another pull. And here you will see the actual gain. It picked up 58 horsepower, which is considerable for just the port work. And now the fun begins. We put the engine back in the car using all of our documentation from when it came out. And we went through the transmission, torque converter to match what the dyno was, trying to match the power curve with the stall speed. And we're going to wire the car for EFI, get it all ready for the hub dyno. Okay, it's a moment of truth. We got the engine back in the car after the engine build, and we got it back on the hub dyno, and now we're going to see what type of horsepower we picked up. Oh wow, he'll be happy with that. Customer's really going to be happy with that. It's like 2.5 times the horsepower it actually had when it came in. Nice little 300 horse pickup. We just got done making 3 pulls back to back with some small tuning adjustments because it was already very close on the engine dyno what we did. And now look at the difference. We're talking over 300 horsepower difference from when the car showed up here to where it's at now. So as you look here, this yellow line represents the new power curve, and it never stops climbing. And down here is the blue one where it came in when the car showed up. It just falls off by 5,500. So I would say we had a home run with this, and the customer's going to be very, very happy. All right, we're not done with the 68 Charger yet. Customer has just authorized us to install a 3-inch exhaust system. We feel like this is where the missing horsepower is at. It made 530 horsepower to the tire on the hub dyno, and on the engine dyno, you saw it already make 750 horsepower. So we're gonna free up some horsepower here and we're gonna run this thing again, so stay tuned and see what it picks up.